How's it going, everyone? It is Skullzi here with the latest and the greatest gaming news. Today we're back in that deep speculation country, my friends, so hopefully you got a trunk full of that skooma and that speculation salt, because we're going to be breaking down yet another one of those old-fashioned country farm 4chan leaks. Now I am pretty picky when it comes to which leaks I cover and which ones I don't. Some leaks I cover in a video like this, and other leaks I cover with a pillow and until they die. But this leak in particular stood out to me and is fairly interesting as it involves Arkane Studios instead of the usual Bethesda Game Studios leaks, and it involves a possible game that sounds amazing if it does actually exist. And as always, we're going to be breaking this situation down together, that way you can see that my bullshit capacity meter is always running at 0%, and that way you can have the links and stuff to verify all of this information for yourself if you choose to. And we're going to start our adventure right here over at the video games board on 4chan. I go to 4chan sometimes, look at leaks and stuff like this. I didn't discover this one, the Reddit Gaming Leaks and Rumors subreddit community did, but overall I try to avoid 4chan in general just because unless you're looking for a time, you probably don't want to go there because you're gonna definitely have a time. What kind of time that is up to 4chan. But anyway, back to this leak. I'll go ahead and I'll completely break this leak down for you. I'll just read to you what the leaker says and then give you my thoughts on whether this leak is true, if it's fake, why I think it's true, and how awesome or crappy it could be if it was true. Now the leaker begins by saying, I have some information about the next Arkane Austin game. Can't tell you how I got this information though, so believe if you want, I guess. Now, real quick, this is something that leakers say that annoys me. Like, you don't need to tell me to believe you if I want to. I'm already going to do that already, but thanks for giving me permission. Usually whenever someone says something like this, it's a pretty clear sign that the leak is fake, because why would you take the time to leak this if you didn't care if it was true or not? This is usually just some kind of like pity victim tactic, saying, oh, woe is me, no leaks are ever considered true, but here I am, good guy leaker, trying to give you some information. Please believe me, don't think I'm fake, you're the jerk, not me. Like, so you get it. This usually whenever someone tries to pity party themselves and telling you believe if you want, I guess, is a big red flag. But let's continue on with this diatribe of possible nonsense, or maybe true. I mean, 4chan leaks have been true in the past, but chances of this being true are kind of low. But anyway, back to the leak. The game is ironically inspired by the Prey 2 concept from years ago, but it is not a sequel to that Prey from 2017, but is instead an original IP altogether. The game is an immersive sim set in an open-world, futuristic city. It features the classic, intricate level design of Arkane, just on a bigger scale more than ever. You'll have different targets, they are set and have a story to them. It's not random characters, and you'll have to take all these targets down. You can kill or neutralize them like you could in Dishonored, and you can approach them in order and the way you want to in a much more broad way, much more than you could in Dishonored. Following up those contracts and stealing stuff grants you money that can be then used to acquire new skills by training or acquiring gadgets. There are skills like tech, hacking, or space magic, and you can mix and match them like you could in Prey. Pre-production started before Prey 2017 release, but the real big production started after Prey Mooncrash. They work in collaboration with people at Roundhouse Studios, which are coming from the old Human Head Studios that worked on the original Prey sequel. Target release date is 2022, only on next gen and PC. And it's kind of interesting that they mentioned the Roundhouse Studios here, because we have no idea what this studio is working on ever since Bethesda acquired them a long time ago. Whatever Roundhouse Studios has been working on has been kind of quiet, so that is somewhat of a credible piece of evidence in this leak, but I mean, anyone with any knowledge of Bethesda's current standing could kind of just come up with something credible like that on their own and just lie about it. And as far as a 2022 release date, I guess that's kind of likely, but in my opinion, I would expect there to be at least 2 to 3 years after Deathloop releases before Arkane releases another new major game. I mean, it would be kind of sudden to have Deathloop and then the very next year this new big immersive open world sim game, so I kind of think that's another red flag that this leak is fake. Now, as to what I think about this leak in general, immediately, like all 4chan leaks, you have to consider them to be most likely fake unless otherwise verified by an official source. And while some 4chan leaks do end up being true, I gotta consider this one more so on the fake side of the fence, as if this leak did end up being true, then it would be Arkane's second new IP, as Deathloop is a new IP as well, and both of these new IPs would be announced and released basically within a few years of one another, according to the dates listed within this leak. So that would be totally odd for there to be so many new IPs from Arkane in such a short period of time. Of course, this new game could be planned for a much later date, years after Deathloop comes out, but even then I don't think it's enough to justify this leak being true. One interesting thing to take note of though is that Deathloop has been confirmed to be in development by Arkane's Leon studio, and Arkane is supposedly working on a new unannounced game separate from Deathloop and Dishonored and even Prey supposedly. So with with that in mind, this seems to be the only somewhat credible piece of evidence, or speculation, or whatever you want to call it, that somewhat supports this leak. And as for the main reason I'm actually covering this leak in a video, if this leak did end up being true, the community would probably lose their minds a bit, as this concept game still has a pretty solid following. A lot of people were pretty disappointed when we never ended up getting the game featured in this little concept trailer. Arkane still did an amazing job with Prey though, regardless of the fact that this concept never came to life. And if this leak was true, I'd say making a new immersive IP set in a universe similar to what was showcased back in this Prey concept trailer would be a very smart move by Arkane, as they excel in making first-person immersive RPGs, and although Deathloop is no doubt going to be hype and an amazing game, it seems to take more of an inspiration from Dishonored, rather than being an immersive game like Arx Fatalis or Dark Messiah of Might and Magic, amazing games from Arkane's past. And like I said, the main reason I'm covering this leak in this video is because Arkane needs to kind of take a step back to the games they used to make with Dark Messiah of Might and Magic and Arx Fatalis. They really don't make games quite like that anymore. I mean, their new games still kind of have that vibe, but I definitely want to see more immersive sims from Arkane. And if they made a game like what was featured in this Prey 2 concept, that would be amazing, and I would totally buy the crap out of that game. Either way, like I always say, we gotta consider these things fake. That is what I'm doing, and that is what I think you should do as well. Speculating over these leaks is a lot of fun though, especially when we exist in a never-ending void of information regarding Bethesda Softworks' future games. Either way, who knows, maybe this leak will end up being true, as this leak does seem a little bit more credible and believable than most of the other leaks that we get from 4chan. Now that finishes up today's video though. As always, what I want to know is, what do you think about all of this? Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and if your comment wins the internet, you may get featured in a future video. Be sure to like the video if you enjoy the content, and if you want to stay in the know when it comes to the latest gaming news, hit that subscribe button and turn notifications on so you don't miss the latest uploads. Follow me over on Twitter for other news that doesn't quite make it into my videos, as well as other channel updates, and check for links down in the description below for the official Skullzi merchandise site, the Skullzi Discord community server, and if you want to have your hand in providing future content, there are links on how to be an exclusive channel member here on YouTube or over on Patreon as well. And as always, thank you for watching. Be sure to tune in next time when Hod Towered fights Heat Pines in a gigantic Goliath fight to the death. To be real though, Celebrity Deathmatch needs to come back with Pete Hines and Todd Howard. I think that would be kind of cool.
It just works.